Only about 2.5% of Americans ever reach $1 million in retirement savings, which sounds like it requires a huge salary. It doesn't. Today, I'm walking through the 4 pillars that turn a completely average income into a 7-figure net worth, using one real, ordinary example the whole way through. And by the end, you'll see exactly why the size of the paycheck was never really the point. Pillar 1, protect the gap. The gap is simply the difference between what you earn and what you actually keep. And this is where nearly everyone gets stuck. Let's follow one real example through this whole video. Jordan, a dental hygienist in Tampa, earning $62,000 a year, which happens to be almost exactly the US median full-time salary in 2026. I know someone earning $700,000 a year who genuinely struggles to save anything. Private school tuition for 2 kids, a mortgage stretched thin, 3 car payments. His lifestyle simply grew to match his income. And once it grows, it's brutally hard to shrink back down. Meanwhile, Jordan saving just 10 to 15% of a $62,000 salary keeps more real dollars at the end of the year than my friend does. It's rarely one big purchase that destroys the gap. It's the recurring small leaks, frequent delivery orders, a credit card carrying a balance at over 20% interest, an apartment upgrade that felt small at the time. Track what you actually spend versus what you earn. And don't ignore the small leaks. They're usually the whole story. Pillar 2, invest aggressively and consistently. What you invest in matters far less than actually doing it automatically every single month. If Jordan saves 10% of that $62,000 salary, about $500 a month, into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund starting at 25, that alone crosses $1.5 million by 65. Start the same plan at 35 instead, and the balance is only about $680,000. A 10-year delay costs roughly $870,000. Time is genuinely that powerful. If you're 40 or older watching this, you're not starting from zero, and it's not too late. The median household in their mid-40s already has around $115,000 saved, and that money is still compounding in the background. You can still pull the other lever hard, a higher savings rate. And here's the real superpower move. Every time Jordan gets a raise, the choice is to either inflate the lifestyle or push that extra money straight into investing. Save 15% instead of 10%, and the number becomes $2.4 million. Save 20% and it's $3.2 million. Same salary, same career. Completely different outcome purely from behavior. Pillar 3, let time do the work, because compounding is deeply backloaded and almost nobody's patience matches the actual shape of the math. Jordan's balance looks fairly modest through year 20, sitting around $283,000. But by year 30, it's $718,000, and just 4 years after that, it crosses $1 million. Those last 4 years alone add more than the first 20 combined, the clearest example of this in the real world. Warren Buffett was worth about $3 billion at 60. He's worth well over $140 billion today, meaning more than 99% of his entire fortune was built after age 50. He wasn't a late bloomer. He was already a great investor decades earlier. He just let the curve keep running. The only way to break this is by interrupting it, panic selling when markets drop. A well-known market analysis shows that missing just the 10 best trading days over 20 years cuts your gains by more than half. And missing 20 or 30 of those days gets dramatically worse from there. The single highest value action in this entire pillar when markets get scary is simply doing nothing. Pillar 4, and it's twofold. Stop leaking returns and grab every dollar of free money available. First, fees. Typical low-cost index fund charges around 0.05% a year. Some managed funds charge 1% or more. That sounds tiny, but the SEC's own investor illustrations show a 1% annual fee versus a 0.25% fee can cost a $100,000 portfolio nearly $30,000 over 20 years for genuinely no extra performance guarantee. On Jordan's numbers, a 1% fee over a 40-year investing horizon turns $1.55 million into roughly $1.2 million. Over $350,000 gone quietly. A percentage-based financial advisor charging around 1% of your entire portfolio every year isn't automatically a ripoff. A good one earns that fee for complex tax or estate planning. But if all you actually need is to hold a low-cost index fund, that 1% is money that stops compounding for you forever. Second, free money. As of Vanguard's most recent data, 88% of 401k participants get some kind of employer match. If Jordan's employer matches even a modest percentage of salary, that's several months' worth of contributions, showing up for free every single year. The closest thing to guaranteed return that exists in investing. Notice what was never part of any of these 4 pillars. I never once told you to go earn a bigger salary. Jordan never breaks 6 figures in this entire story and still crosses 7, purely from behavior and patience. If you're in a high cost of living area and genuinely can't find the gap yet, that's your real first battle. Before any investing, tracking expenses, cutting the biggest ones, or finding a little extra income on the side. But once that gap exists, the honest question isn't whether you'll become a millionaire. It's whether you're aiming for 1, 2, or 3. Which of these 4 pillars are you weakest on right now? Tell me in the comments. And if this helped, there's a lot more where it came from.